OIWA and SOAR Championship Wrestling presents Friday, June 18th, SOAR Mania 2, as the undeniable rock stars and DJ Brown, as well as MLW superstars Alexander Hammerstone and Gino Medina in action. Also, the OIWA International Heavyweight Champion Dante Smiley takes on Austin Aries. This and much more at SOAR Mania 2, June 18th at 7:30.
Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show, your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk. Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, and the Eagle Eye, Bill Cerna, and the best co-host anyone could ask for, Cuervo. We cover it all. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports. Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio. Sorry, running a couple minutes late, but finally got in here only 8 minutes late, but just shoot me. But unlike Cuervo, I'm usually on time. But I had to get my coffee, had to get it all set and ready to go to get ready for today's show. Interesting show today that we have going on here. And we're not going to get Cuervo for lots of hours like we normally do. But that will just all depend on what we are going to do, whether how long he stays when he gets here, and go from there. That being said, that's the name of the show. You can catch our shows on Sunday. Right now, 3:30 is a really good time, evidently, for Cuervo, so we're going to do it. I'm usually open all day long, and during the season, don't forget about the opportunity to catch us from 9 to noon, right before kickoff of every NFL Sunday weekend. We will be doing that 18 weeks straight, and then obviously going into the playoffs when that kicks in and things of that sort. So watch out for that as far as our future endeavors. Also, don't forget about SOAR Championship Wrestling, guys. I just to let you know, that's just what we do. That's just what I do around the area here in Dallas. I've caught on, obviously, because I have found myself completely and utterly missing calling football games. I haven't called a football game in 2 years now. Obviously, last year, we took a year to get to next year, and then next year wasn't there, so we skipped over next year, and here we are 2 years later, haven't called a football game. So one of the things that I have been doing in preparation, obviously, for the 2021 season for the Rowlett Eagles, is listening to some old games that I called in the past, indoor football and also football for high school football, to try to get my cadence back, to get ready for the season, because as of right now, everything, until we hear differently, everything looks like we are going to be in booth again. And so we'll bring on the Eagle Eye Bill Cerna, as well as the Sparrow Butch Wesson. We'll be bringing him on for our broadcast this year. And I'm really excited, and watched a lot of football last night. Yeah, guys, I watched football. Guess what? Because football season is not over. Indoor football season started weeks and weeks ago. I watched 5 football games last night, watching indoor football with the IFL. I watched even an NAL game on rerun, actually. Didn't even realize it wasn't on. I missed it. It was on Friday. So I watched that on rerun and some other games as well. So that being said, I'm getting into my football vibe for what we'll do right here on the Couch Potato Sports Show as we cover the Rowlett Eagles varsity football team. I'm really excited about that, and hopefully we'll be able to do exactly that, which is call those games. So those that are fans of this show, we're going to be still doing it in video program. We'll also throw it up on Blog Talk Radio. I've got all that stuff finally figured out, because sometimes when you're doing a remote with video compared to audio, sometimes it's really hard. So what we have done, we've switched it out, got it all set and ready to go to where all of it's going to work at the same time. So I'm really excited about that. Took some work, but we got that done. But that's what we've been doing for the last 7 years, calling high school football. Missed our 8th year, but this is our 9th year within association of Rowlett Eagles varsity football. I'm really excited about it and ready to go in reality, as it's been a long 2 years. And miss my buddy in the booth, that being Bill Cerna. And Bill Cerna, just to let everybody know, is an assistant, even back that up, he is a special team coach for the Indoor Football League's Spokane Shock. So he travels a lot for those games, and so we may or may not have him in the booth, but I will have my buddy Butch Wesson with me when he can't be there. So I'm really excited about that. I'm getting geared up for the season and ready to go. That being said, of course, the NFL, we're now getting into those volunteering times of getting, to training camps. These are voluntary camps for guys to get out there. Some guys are making it, some guys are not. That being said, a lot of teams will look up on the fact that you won't come to a involuntary or a voluntary camp and look at you as maybe you could be part of the problem. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this was sometimes guys were cut because they did not go to these camps. And now, obviously, those aren't the superstars. I'm talking about guys that are on the bubble, guys that are on the 3rd and 4th teams, get frowned upon by not coming to these voluntary workouts with the team. And now, think about this, guys. There's more to it now than everything, if you think about where the season is. And the NFL protocols for the COVID is going to be very interesting, and that can be something else that you've got to look at. Yes, there it is up on the screen. These are the NFL COVID protocols going for teams here inside training camp and going throughout the season. So fully vaccinated, there's no daily testing, no mask required at the club facility, no quarantine after exposure to a COVID positive individual. No travel restrictions, may eat in the cafeterias, no capacity unlimited in the weight room, use of the sauna and steam rooms are no problem, and interact with vaccinated family and friends during travel. But if you are not vaccinated, what you've got to deal with in reality is daily testing. Masks are still required at the club facility, and you still have you are subject to social distancing requirements, obviously that 6-foot thing, and quarantine after exposure to COVID, as well as travel restrictions will be in effect. Capacity limits in the weight room, no meals in the meal room, and no steam rooms, and no interaction with vaccinated family or friends during travel. So there's a big motivation for you to be vaccinated going into this season. And if fully vaccinated, you're not going to have any questions. If you're not, and this is really one of those big questions, because your medical situation is supposed to be private, but this protocol right here will tell you exactly who has been fully vaccinated and who has not. Now, I'm going to tell you, the 3rd and 4ths, every single one of them, if they're not fully vaccinated, they're going to be on the bubble because of NFL protocols, and never mind if they don't go to these voluntary workouts. The voluntary workouts are great for third and fourth strings and even sometimes second string guys. So you are looked down upon by not making these actual classes or the outstanding the training. Then you add the COVID up on top of it if you had not been actually certified. And those will be reasons why you'll see guys get cut. That will end up happening. And it's a too bad for the situation, but at the same time where the NFL is sitting and what they are trying to do as a football organization within the NFL, making everybody safe and doing what they had to do. This had to be put into place. This had to be the protocol because of what could end up happening if someone gets sick. If these protocols are not in there, it takes the NFL completely out and putting it all on the shoulders of the individual teams. And then the individual teams will have to suffer consequences if they are not following protocol of the NFL because the NFL has put it down. And the NFL will also go ahead and fine the hell out of these guys by not doing it. So a lot of things for this new season that's coming up. And whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, or whether you think masks and all this, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your political stance is regarding COVID. Okay? It doesn't matter what your political stance is on anybody because guess what? It will affect everybody that plays the game with them being in that close proximity of them. So say whatever you want about the vaccine and what's going on with it. It will play a major part on whether or not a guy makes a team or gets cut. So interestingly enough, that's how the NFL is going to handle it. Good, bad, or indifferent, it just is the way it is. So as I look forward to it, if you're bubbling, if you're sitting there and they just need a reason to get rid of a guy because they got to get down to 65, well, part of it, never mind the fact that maybe you're on the bubble, but if you're not vaccinated, that could be completely an easy pick for a football team to decide whether or not you're going to be on the team. Good, bad, or indifferent, it is the way that it is. So watch out for that. How will that work? How will the NFL's protocol work? How will they know if their protocols are not being followed? There are a lot of things that we're going to be looking at going into this new season because remember, just so everybody knows, by the time they kick these off, they will have restrictions up and they will have full stadiums out there. And if it's not full stadiums, it'll be at least 50 to 75% of the people that will be allowed in there. So you'll be looking at that. You'll see those front rows, blocked off to keep them away from the players. Not that they're not 35 yards away from you, even if you're in the first row situation, they'll just make it even more. And look what we did more so. So watch out for those teams out there. By the way, I did get an email from my show last week. And normally I get a lot of emails and and messages, and I just kind of laugh at them. But I did get one regarding Tua. My thinking on what's going on with Tua right now. Some guys think I'm being too critical, but they're not listening to what I said, which is no big surprise because when you make a statement about a situation on a football team, everybody sees it as an attack, and everybody thinks that I'm attacking Tua. Okay, so let's just talk about that for a minute. If I wanted to attack Tua, it would be very easy for me to do, just so that you know. Attacking Tua is a very easy thing as far as his play. All I got to do is go to his stats, and I can prove a lot of things, and I didn't even do that. I'm not – and here, let me just make it straight, guys. I am not against Tua at all. I was against Tua joining in and taking over that Miami Dolphin team last year when Fitzpatrick was playing well. That was my only thing. Whether he turns out to be a superstar or not, that's remained to be seen. But that was not my problem with Tua last year. And then didn't even necessarily have a problem with Tua, more so than the fact that I didn't think he should be starting. And I was proven right, by the way, just to let everybody know. I was proven completely right. Tua should not have been starting last year after Fitzpatrick was in the situation where he's at. They were still in the playoff run. They still had a lot of things going on for them. And, as far as Fitzpatrick was concerned, I saw this guy getting a raw deal. Because if you look at the Miami Dolphins historically for the last 5 years, they haven't been jacked. And mainly because of the Patriots' domination in the AFC East. So when you see where they were last year and even from the last year going into this year, you've seen the opportunity of where Miami was and what they could be with Ryan Fitzpatrick, quite possibly making the playoffs. So just let everybody know, guys, I have nothing against Tua. I don't know if he's good, bad, or indifferent. Now, you may think he's fantastic. I'm just going to sit here and tell you that I don't know if he's fantastic. I want to see more from him before I will label the guy. I label him rookie. Okay, and say whatever you want. Even with all these guys that are going into this season and are going to take those starting positions, I look at him and go, listen, they're going to go 8-9 at best. You got to understand, these young cats are coming from college, and not everybody was playing on a Division AAA. And I say Division AAA, I'm talking about there are many Division 1s out there, okay? All right, but whether or not you were in a conference or a league that actually had talented players, you want to pull those guys and subject them to the speed of the NFL and what it could be. Because even week 1 to week 4, you'll see if you watch the games. As my good friend Randy Galloway says, if you watch the damn games, you'll see the speed of the game increase between weeks 1 and week 4 and 5. So right in between 1 and 5, 1 through 4, you'll see the speed of these guys get more. So when the rookies take that first step out, they're already at a disadvantage. Never mind the fact the difference is the defenders are always going to be fast. So those quarterbacks are going to have one hell of a hard time doing what they do in order to be successful. Now, you can say whatever you want about certain players, and you may even be right if you did that. But I'm going to tell you that most of these guys, if any of them win more than 8 games this year, you have to look at it as a fantastic year, whether it's any of them. Now, some people out there, fans sometimes get too far into it. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to win 8 games. Go to Vegas, put down the bet, man. I'm telling you. Never mind he's a rookie. Never mind he's got a new coach. Never mind you got a team that you don't know where. How could you think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to end up in the playoffs? I want them to. They're my team. I want to see the Jacksonville Jaguars make the playoffs, but they're not going to. And if your expectations are that they should, you need to relook at the football team because they're I'll just say it, they're not that good. Did they make some good pickups in the offseason? Absolutely. If this was a team that was established, had been playing, could they buy, maybe challenge for it? Yes. But this team is not going to make the playoffs. And if you think the Jaguars are, you're not paying attention. You're not watching the damn game. You're not. So look at what's going on, see how it works. Now, do I want to be wrong? Absolutely, guys. But I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to rookies, okay, I am right most of the time. I'm very rarely wrong when it comes to a rookie.
I was very.
I'm not wrong. So we got a bunch of new guys going to be quite possibly starting. Jacksonville, if they were smart, if they want to win games, maybe, and depending on where the state of the franchise is, and that's the big question too. The Jaguars going into this season might be set and ready to go and have the understanding that they are not going to make the playoffs and they're going to play that way in order to get their rookie quarterback some time for next year. And I'm all for that. You'll see the progressions of the players and see how they go, and then you would be more apt to take a look at them in year number 2, even though that's the sophomore slump year. You can still get an idea about where they're going to be and take a shot. But the Jaguars are not going to make the playoffs. Just not going to happen. Most people who watch this game understand that. You got, especially look at the division. It's a horrible division, but you still got Ryan Tannehill that you got to deal with. And say whatever you want about Ryan Tannehill, okay? That guy has rediscovered his career. If he was down in Miami, you couldn't depend upon Ryan Tannehill to do what he's doing. But then you take a look at the other side of that. So Ryan Tannehill right there in the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts, they got a quarterback. They got a run. They've got a lot of things going on. Houston is a disaster. And then you add Jacksonville into the mix. The best the Jacksonville Jaguars can, I think, will do. And I have not looked at it deep. But I'm just looking at the nuance of what's going on with new coach, new quarterback, new offensive coordinators, new coaching staff, everything new. Everything new does not result immediately. So look out for that. If you are a Jaguar fan, do not expect the Jaguars to make the playoffs. Do not expect them to win 8 or more games. If they win 8, you got to say they had a monster year. And let them beat a team they really have no business beating. Even though they're not playing well, they'll beat a team that they really have no business beating, and it'll happen. So look out for that. That's one of the things. The Jacksonville Jaguars, good football team. Who knows? You cannot sit here and say they're going to be a good football team, because half the time this season, Sonny's going to pull out this couch potato quarter and flip it on who's going to win the game, especially week number 1. And I don't even know who the hell they're playing. The only way that they win that game is if they got another team that they're playing with a rookie quarterback. So as we like to say here, look at the team and keep it real. Don't think that the Jaguars are going to be huge. And also with these other guys, hey, the Chicago Bears, as much as I hate to say it, they got that nice little rookie quarterback, but they have a better chance of winning football games with Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton's not even that good. This extra game has added a new dimension to the football field. Number 1, I love the fact there's no 500. You're either below 500 or above 500, period. And that's where I think they all should add the rule that regardless of where you are within your division, if you're not above 500, you can't be in, and the best team will take that team's spot. A la last year when you seen what happened there, as far as the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team is concerned. They had no business in the playoffs, although I loved the story. I mean, you had other teams, winning 4 or 5 more games and still didn't make the playoffs, and there's Washington. So I think that might be a good step to go in to say no team below 500 will make the playoffs unless all the other teams are exhausted within the NFL, and then you can use that actual depiction of that division of football getting an automatic bid. Automatic bids should go away if you don't have the 500 record. We'll see what ends up happening. This year will be interesting. We'll watch it. That one more game makes a huge difference. You could be 8-9 or 9-8. No more 8-8s. We've seen many seasons of 8-8s. We've seen many seasons of a team playing really bad and still making the playoffs. And listen, last year wasn't the first time that we've seen that happen. Last year, it's not new. This is not a new thing where bad football teams make the playoffs and usually get outed in the first round. That is something that's huge. It's common, and every year we always have a division of football or 2 that are knocking on the door of being 8-8 or even 7-9 making the playoffs. And I just got the notes. Not going to be able to join you, Sonny. And everything he's doing today has gone nuts, so I'm flying this one solo. So that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. I had something to show off to Cuervo. And even keeping it sports related. Let's see here. There's Ryan. Good to see Ryan. We were going to cover it with Cuervo's help because I'm not much into it. But since you brought it up, Ryan, I'm going to go directly to it because maybe you, with some comments and everything, can help me. But I'm going to put this thing up here because this was I get what's going on. So let me just say that I get what's going on with it, but I don't get why it's going on. Oh, wait. I got to pull it up. I had just in case there was a fight tonight, in case you didn't know. And it's Mayweather and Logan. And this is an interesting situation as far as where this fight goes. And I'm going to be honest. I think this kind of match where evidently there's no quote unquote winner, unless there's obviously a knockout. They had the knockout situation, what's going on there. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a great big fan of all that. Not at all. And if you give me a second, I'm going to pull up the image that I got, the actual rules that are going on, and give me 2 seconds. And so you can actually see them. So let me hit this, and all right. So I got to do something really quick. I got to hit that. All right, and I got to find the picture and get it uploaded really quick because this is really interesting. All right, there we go. Give me 2 seconds. It'll be uploaded. Yes, we're going to cover it. So Mayweather, let's talk about it. Here's the thing. There are no winners, supposedly, and no judges. The biggest news is that there won't be a winner declared at the end of the fight. Unless there is a knockout, because knockouts are allowed. And if you can't get up from a knockout, you lose the fight. So that is one of the things that are going on. And supposedly it won't be an official thing because this is a something for charity or something that's not sanctioned or whatever. There could still be a stoppage because of the knockout, which is legal or at the referee's discretion, just like any other time. 3-minute rounds, 10-ounce gloves, no headgear. Now, that being said, knowing what I know about Mayweather and not knowing a lot about Logan, if it wasn't for the fact that he was in the WWE, I wouldn't even know who this guy is because I am not a YouTube sensation guy. But here's what it is. The Mayweather is from a boxing is lose-lose for him, except that it is a money grab. Absolutely. It's a money grab for both of them. So whether or not, see, if you go back into the day, and I know Ryan Smith knows this better, when you were going, that was a fight. You knew Mike Tyson was going to go out and rip up somebody's head. Do these guys have a gentleman agreement not to go 100% at each other because it is a money grab and they don't want to hurt each other? That's what I don't like about this thing. I want to see an actual boxing match going on with full winning and full boxing rules and getting a lot of money for what? This fight's obviously not going to be more than an hour's worth of work. Now, the preparation to get to it, I don't even know if that was even real. But here's what I know. I hate him. Cannot stand him. I don't give anybody too much of a shot with Mayweather. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's just speed. This guy is one, if not the fastest, that I've ever seen in the ring, but also pops a big punch behind it. And I'll tell you the reason why. We go back to wrestling. Mayweather was in a wrestling match with the Big Show. All interviews, if you go back and watch, even and Big Show said, don't fake it. Do what you do. He damn near broke his jaw. So one of the hardest punches he ever received. Now, this Logan guy, from what I see, young, strong dude, and I know he's a boxer. But listen, he's not 42-0. Is that the number, 42-0? And yes, he may be 44, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's as many fights as he's had, I still think that's a young 44. I think this guy packs a punch. I think this guy, now, just for this show, I went and watched a little bit of the Logan stuff. Listen, nowhere 50-0. See, I didn't even know that. Thank you, Ryan. But Logan is nowhere near the speed. And even if Mayweather lost a step, he's going to be able to get out of trouble before Logan can. But then we also go back to the fact on this. Yeah, I add myself back to the stream. If this was a real match, I would go for this all day long, and I would actually be hyped about it. So I'm not hyped about the fact that it's not real. I'm not hyped about the fact that we don't know what's going to end up happening. So if it was a real match, I think we would get 100% from each one of them. And the fact that it's not, that's where it is. There's some other, evidently there's another match that's on the undercard just right below him that's going to be out of sight. I don't keep track of a lot of boxing anymore. But I will tell you, I can't stand him. Okay, I can't stand him. You watch this show long. I don't like these flashy guys. But I also am not going to deny the talent. That dude has got some talent. And if you go up against Mayweather thinking that you're going to win, I think a lot of people are going to be mistaken about or actually underestimating what Mayweather can do. And Logan's going to be too slow in this. But then again, how much did they both really prepare for this? That's why I don't like it. But I think as far as Mayweather is concerned, I think that this will sit on his, legacy of where he's at. Like you said, he's 50-0. I don't think he wants to be 50-1 by getting knocked out by Logan. Now, one of the things I've read about Logan is that guy punches real hard. But whether or not he's going to be able to get a full punch onto Mayweather is going to be the big question, I think, in this thing going on. So, interestingly enough, holy cow. So I'm not sure, and I'm not even sure when it kicks off here. So yes, this is what I'm talking about. More fights going on. Ocho Cinco. Yeah, so it is. There's actually one good match on the undercard besides Ocho Cinco too. There's another, I forget who it was, and I just heard it in passing. Because guys, again, when we walk up on this show, okay, I don't have a lot of time to listen to sports talk radio. So I don't know what anybody's opinion is hardly on anything unless something gets thrown at me to say, hey, Sonny, take a look at this. And I don't get a lot of that. So I find things that we'll talk about basically in the headlines, and we throw our opinion out to them about what they are. So I'm going to say if I was a betting man, even though I'm not, here we go. There you go. So that I think tonight, and that's Showtime, by the way. It's not a pay-per-view. You need to have Showtime to catch that. As far as unless I'm wrong about the pay-per-view, but I know it's on Showtime. So interesting enough, a money grab tonight. Ocho Cinco's definitely doing it for the money grab, but he's not the main guy. Ocho Cinco's, his financial situation is probably not the best from the last I heard. So interestingly enough, it is. It's a pay-per-view on Showtime. Thank you very much for the clarifications there, Ryan. So that's what I think. I think Mayweather gets it. And I don't. Really, to be honest, I don't think there's really that much to even look at as far as that is concerned, unless Logan comes in and he just lands one that he is not expecting to come his way and just rocks his world. So, but Mayweather, as much as I hate him, I think he's smarter than that. So that's where we're at. that's where we're going to do. That's what we're talking about, guys. We have more things to talk about here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Yes, I'm very happy about the NBA. Yes, I'm very happy about Bron Bron in the playoffs. We'll talk about that. Some other things. There's some odds that I was looking at. So I was taking a look at some of the odds on certain bets and things. So we'll talk about some odds that are going on. Also, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, and we'll talk about this when we come back from the break. When I was growing up, and I was a little kid, before 10 years old, Christy McNichol was my little crush. But when I moved into high school, a television show came on called Coach. And then I found a new crush that I had on. And by the way, she just became one of my Facebook friends. Yeah, that's right. I'm throwing it around. I got a name. I got a name, a famous person. She actually just accepted my friend's request, and I'm going to try to get her on the show. And she used to be on the show called Coach, if you know that show. She's my age. When I was growing up, like that chick's hot. The boyfriend wasn't very hot in the show. We'll talk about okay. I'll just do it before we leave. There she is, guys. This is Claire Carey. She paid Kelly. She paid Coach's daughter, and she still looks magnificent. She will be she'll be 54 here in a couple of days, actually. So I'm like 6 months older than her. I just thought she was the cat's meow when I was a youngster. Yep, that's right. Claire Carey is on my Facebook page as a friend of mine. She just 2 weeks ago, and I'm trying to set her up to talk about the show on this show because I don't do a lot of interviews, but at the same time, that was one of my favorite shows growing up. So yes, Claire Carey on my friends list actually answered, and I've talked to her back and forth as well. So pretty cool. So what we're going to do, take a quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's that being said, our Sunday now afternoon edition, that seems to be better time for Cuervo, even though we can't make it at 3:30 in the afternoon. I was working on our Sunday tradition. We'll take the quick break. We'll be right back.
This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about RowlettFood.com. Do you want to have dinner delivered, but you don't want to use Uber Eats? Contact someone locally that can do the same thing at a better price and faster. All you have to do is pick a restaurant on the list at the website, tell us what you'd like to order, then check out, and you'll have your food within 25 to 45 minutes, depending on distance. Check out RowlettFoods.com for your next meal at Raising Cane's, Golden Pot, Ponchos and Lefty, and more. Give us a call at 972-408-8002 or check us out on the web at RowlettFood.com. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Landon Huey and 19 Ministries.
One of the things we want to do is we have this idea, the name that's kind of sticking right now is Rowlett Revival. And we know that there are a lot of hurting and broken people across the city. Out of a population of 60,000, there's close to 40,000 that aren't saved. And we want to do like a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday where we'll bring in a guest speaker, and he's just going to share the love of Christ. And we want to connect people in the city up with churches, and where they can find a healthy church family and find people that believe in them and find a God that loves them. Jesus came for a broken world, and man, he loves and cares for everybody in the city. And so we're excited about that. We're working through details right now, but our vision is to see God's going to reach a lot of people.
So make sure you contact Landon Huey at 19 Ministries at 972-835-8665 or check them out on the web at 19ministries.org or uniterowlett.org. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, asking, are you looking for a new home? Want to know what your house could sell for in today's market? Then you need to contact Realtor Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or investing, he can help you get where you need to be. Visit RayHubbardRealEstateGroup.com or make an appointment today by calling 214-236-2914. That's 214-236-2914. Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group, Keller Williams Rockwall. Find out how Merchant Masters DFW, specializing in small business companies, can help you save money and protect your customers' information with our credit card processing and point-of-sale systems. In 95% of our cases, our services save our clients money. So, what makes Merchant Masters DFW different from all the others? It's an integrity-first approach to each client we work with so you receive the very best, including financial savings, lowest possible rates, superior technology, and improved support. So claim your free audit at merchantmastersdfw.com or contact John Beeman at 262-339-5470 for more information. That's 262-339-5470. Merchant Masters DFW, different from all the rest.
Ever want to know why Bill and I look so great on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook to find out why. Check out all the samples that Kelly has got up so you can see, especially if you have that special occasion that needs something original, something designed, something that just says, this is our moment. Check out K West Designs on Facebook or give her a call at 469-601-5856. That's 469-601-5856. Again, K West Designs. Make yourself look original or different or just something just for you. K West Designs. OIWA and SOAR Championship Wrestling presents Friday, June 18th, SOAR Mania 2 as the undeniable rock stars and DJ Brown, as well as MLW superstars Alexander Hammerstone and Gino Medina in action. Also, the OIWA International Heavyweight Champion Dante Smiley takes on Austin Aries. This and much more at SOAR Mania 2, June 18th at 7:30. Welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, flying solo here on a Sunday as I got the message from Cuervo, not going to be able to make it as he had some things that he was trying to do to try to make it into the show, was unable to do it. I know he's got his eyes up on that boxing match, and I think he's actually on his way there, and his errands and the things he had to do went too long before he could get up on the show. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Yes, again, I will go ahead and just boost the fact that I got one of the hottest girls that I thought of when I was young, when I was going through high school. That's right, Kelly Fox, the daughter of Hayden Fox on Coach. And I am. I'm working on trying to bring her in on the show, talk a little bit about the show as far as her participation, obviously, in the show, what it was all about, and the sports aspect of it, obviously, there. And also bring on my dream girl that I've ever had. And she actually agreed that she'll do it. We just got to be able to find a time in order to get it done. So I'm actually excited about that. Again, Kelly Fox, that, of course, her name is Claire Carey, will be a guest up on the show here hopefully here soon, so we can talk a little bit about that. It's one of my favorite shows. Came on after Roseanne for many years, and it was one of those great shows that I enjoyed watching. So, yeah, she's on my friends list. I actually accepted my friends list. Actually talked to my high school hottie girlfriend, superstar girlfriend. So, that kind of thing. Yes, I didn't have much of a life there. So there you go. But that being said, that's the name of the show. By the way, I talked a little bit last week, and I want to, and this is mainly because I just received a message about it. What we were talking about last week regarding athletes and where they are. And again, it's hard to feel sorry for these athletes as they're going through life and making millions and millions of dollars. Okay. But but every single one of those players have got a lot of taxes that they got to play outside of where they live. So that's the reason why Florida and Texas teams, look very good, because there's no state taxes. So that being said, I'll put it back up. This was Stephen Curry. All right. I knew this was on, but I didn't realize the actual, impact it took. So again, looking at Stephen Curry, $37.4 million. If you look at all these are the states that he had to actually fill out taxes for, because he made money in one or two games that are out there. Maybe sometimes more in one state or whatever the case may be. But I will tell you, that's a lot of money for one game. So they base it upon breaking it down for how much money they make per game in reality. And that's even if they don't even play. Then look at Ontario, how much money they took for one game. They took 53% of what he made in that game. So you see he's making about $500,000 in one game. And he had to give up $246,000 total for all the states that were collecting taxes. He had a tax bill from the states, $945,000. It just an incredible number. And yes, in every state that they play in, they have to pay the taxes based upon a prorated amount of money that they make per game. So as much as I don't feel sorry for players making millions of dollars, this is still a reality of the situation. And it's actually, I don't know, good, bad, or indifferent. It is just the way that it is. Now, don't get me wrong. All right, listen, I am sure that these players, depending on who they are, were going to get that money anyway. Based upon their salary, based upon what they were going to get paid. And then they say, okay, we'll end up paying the taxes for you. This is how much it will cost. And they figured it all out and had that in. So he got the money he wanted, per se, knowing how much taxes that he was going to end up paying in each place. So I think that's pretty much understood as far as that is concerned. But lots of money going out for taxes for these athletes and going that way. Now, what was the big news this week is where Julio Jones was going to end up. Interestingly enough, there are some talks out there that this guy is going to end up in Tennessee. But earlier in the week, Julio wants to be with a big guard quarterback and deliver the deep ball. That, to me, does not seem like it's Ryan Tannehill. Okay, I just don't. Because when you look at Ryan Tannehill, you look at a guy that's kind of a good player. But where will Julio go? I don't know. Well, let's look at the odds. Where will Julio go? Actually, that's the wrong one. Where's my other one that I have my odds? Right here. That's right here. Julio's next team. And these are points bet. These are betting sites on where he could end up going. And some of the reports that are out there are saying that Julio Jones is all set to sign the contract, ready to go, or as far as the trade is concerned, and that's going to be Tennessee. Now, Seattle was a big story for the last 3 to 4 days. And I will tell you, that would have been a great set for Russell Wilson and Julio Jones. But there were some other guys that could you just think about what could it be? Then you ask yourself, how good is Patrick Mahomes? Well, this is how good he is. And listen, you look at the wide receivers for Patrick Mahomes. Listen, they're guys that you can forget about. You add a Julio Jones to Patrick Mahomes. Look at these numbers. And see, and in looking at these numbers, especially the completion percentage, he was 13th. But the rest of them, no worse than 4th, sometimes 1st, 20 yards or more. That's where Julio Jones would come into play. touchdowns, 38, best for fourth. Passing yards, 4,700, second. Those numbers could be better if you add a Julio Jones to the mix in Kansas City. But again, where Kansas City was not even on this list as far as the points bet. So interestingly enough, but again, realizing how good Julio Jones is, well, how good is he? Well, he's got the new offensive line. Lost a lot of guys, got a lot of guys. Big time Orlando Brown there, Kyle Long. I mean, Joe Tunde. I'm telling you, you got a better offensive line today than what he had last year. And, and really, you take a look at the schedule that they're looking at, outside of Baltimore on this list, maybe Green Bay, that's if they have an Aaron Rodgers up there. I only see maybe 3 games that they lose. So, interestingly enough, where Kansas City lies right now, as far as where will they be, I think if they landed a Julio Jones, it would have been crazy for you not to think that Kansas City would be one of the teams that you got to beat. Right now, they're one of the teams you got to beat to win the Super Bowl. Add Julio Jones, that just makes that number much better. So I don't know. I'm looking at a lot of it. Interestingly enough, week 4, gotcha. Listen, week 4. So let me just put it up there. Week 4, Eagles at the Eagles. They're gonna. I'm gonna do what one of our other co-hosts says. Brian Tarvin says they're gonna skull drag them all over the place. I mean, really. I mean, I don't see how they can even come close. But good that you're a fan. Like to see that out there. So interestingly enough, I don't know. Julio is at the age, and by the way, they're not talking like any first-round draft picks for the Tennessee Titans to get this guy. So I don't know what's going on. I thought they could at least pull a first-round draft pick for him. I thought that they could. But interestingly enough, why they're going Tennessee, that part I don't know. But that does help Tennessee. In a division of football that's weak, obviously got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not going to do anything there. You have Tennessee, who already has Derrick Henry. Also got a couple of weapons on the outside already. Add Julio Jones. This is a big-time ad for the Tennessee Titans. Really, Houston's just off in oblivion. But the team that you're really going to have to compete for is going to be Indianapolis with their new quarterback, with their new situation up there. It'll be interesting. But no, I think Philadelphia gets skull dragged. So, interestingly enough, and yes, my thoughts on that is that first of all, I'll just say this, and maybe it's because I know sports and I know when these shows are on. If he didn't know that he was on the air, okay, I'll just say it. He's kind of dumb. I mean, he knows what Shannon Sharpe does for a living Monday through Friday. He knew when he was talking to him. But the reports are he didn't necessarily know he was on air. And what I will say, and listen, I'm not a Shannon Sharpe fan. Not at all. I think some of his takes are stretch takes, and that's what I call them, stretch takes. I do that all the time. Listen, I'm on this show. So having stretch takes, that's part of it. Like Frank Gore. Okay, Frank Gore. I know he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's Hall of Fame worthy. I don't care what his number 3 in rushing is all to, because I can go through the top 25 running backs that are in the Hall of Fame and say, I'd rather have him than Frank Gore. Okay, now that's what I call a stretch take. I believe it, by the way, to my heart, and so does Cuervo. He believes it too. But it's what's called a stretch take. So when you go to this situation, as far as Shannon Sharpe, he took this take and stretched it and I don't want to say he probably should have known that this was going on. He should have obviously gave the warning, but I don't put this past Shannon Sharpe because I don't personally think that Shannon Sharpe, first of all, is good at what he does in debates. I just don't think he is. In fact, I think Skip kicks his ass all the time. That's a personal opinion. And yeah, he called his personal phone from his own phone, okay? And they're casually talking to him, and then I agree with you. And by the way, I'm going to tell you straight out, there could be a lawsuit that be filed on this situation. Because if I'm Julio Jones and I'm that dumb to obviously think, he's not on the air today and didn't really honestly know, that is a lawsuit as far as that is concerned. Because he said some things, he says, yeah, I'm out of here. Well, I'm going to just tell you right now, even if Atlanta at that point probably said, maybe we can figure out a way to keep this guy happy. Well, part of the problem in there is the fact they still have Matt Ryan, who's on the worst Super Bowl hangover in Super Bowl history, okay? And if they would have got him somebody else to throw him the football, maybe he would stay, maybe he wouldn't, or maybe he would stay even with Matt Ryan. All that was blown out of the water after, Shannon Sharpe decided that he was going to think and sound like, and this is what it was, Ryan. I'm going to tell you what it was. He wanted to be the guy that says, yeah, I got the story. He wanted that ego boost of saying, yeah, I'm right. And what he did is he put his professional reputation on the line by doing that. That was not a right thing to do. I think Fox should definitely move against him for doing it, especially if Julio Jones has been on the phone with the execs of Fox going, yo, bro, what's up with this? And he would have a place to be there. But again, I go back to the fact that if you're dumb enough not to know when Shannon Sharpe is on air, what he does, then, I think you got to take a little bit of personal responsibility on it. So I think that's the reason also why we're not hearing a lot about whether or not he's going to go after him or to Fox Sports. If I was him, I would make the point saying, listen, these are conversations. I bet you he's not on his call list. If he really honestly did not know, I bet you Shannon Sharpe is not on Julio Jones' call list anymore because that was outside of it. And it's just really, really nonsense. Should have gave him a heads up, didn't do it. But that's just my opinion. Now, I'm not a Shannon Sharpe fan either. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. I wish Ryan had gone off because I would love to get his take on it. There are certain people right now that are going on air and not keeping it about sports. I get everything that is being talked about as far as the social injustices that are going on in the world and racism, all this other stuff. But I'm telling you, okay, this is just me. You can say it's my Caucasian skin or what. I'm so tired of it. It's been months after month after month. Now I get what people are talking about, but I don't care about sports people's opinions about things. I want to hear from people that can move this country. And maybe if you take a look at the athlete and say, yes, that guy can move that agenda up, maybe it could be good. But I really honestly think I want to hear it from different people than athletes, regardless of what the issue is. So I don't, and I am one that I don't care about athletes' agendas or what they do off the field. Because when I tune in to watch football, I tune in to watch football. Now, I have been told that's not the way for me to think. I should not think that way. But I'm going to tell you straight out that if I went to a football game, okay, my money that I'm spending is not to see what they are doing as far as their social put out. I'm there to see a football game. I'm not saying, and here's the thing, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying at this point in my life, the stories that are going to keep coming and coming and coming, and the fact that they just keep pounding and pounding and pounding, I get the reason why they're doing it, but I get it. And I just don't want to hear it anymore. And it's not because I don't think that that's not a problem in this world, because it is a problem in this world. I just get what the problem is, and I'm not avoiding the fact that it's not out there. I just want to pay my $25 to $30 to go watch an indoor football game or a minor league baseball game, because I'm not going to go to Major League Baseball, football, basketball games. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my hard-earned money to watch that product. And even if I did, if I went to it, I'm there to watch the product. So, but again, I'll go back on the fact, whatever they do, I don't have a problem with it. So, however it ends up working for some people, that's where I'm at. I'm just ready. I'm just ready to move on and get to sports. And why am I? Because we've been without sports for a year because of COVID and how political COVID has gone. And you know, all the nonsense regarding that, the mask, all the emails from all this other nonsense. I'm just so beaten down, I guess is what I'm saying, that I just want to watch some football. And that's why I watched indoor football last night. And if I didn't get off work so late, I would have been over in Frisco watching the Frisco Fighters live there. I was too tired after work, and I just didn't want to deal with driving there, sitting there for 3 hours, then coming back to make a 10-hour day, a 15-hour day. So I just went home and watched the game. So, but that's just the way I kind of look at it. So Julio Jones, it should be interesting, you know, and back into the NFL. You know, the NFL with the 17 games, I think has done something to where this is actually now a possibility. The NFL might have one game a season in Germany. I bet you a dime it'll be more than that next year. They are trying to expand their fan base out to different places, adding a week up on top of it. Excuse me. Sorry, I went on a coughing jag there. But adding the game puts more money in their pocket, and they can use that game to have them go over there and go into different countries. So there's a lot of things around that 17th game, I think, that comes into play. So interestingly enough. Now, I have some subjects that I want to talk to Cuervo about that I'm not going to talk about until next week or next time we're up on air. So there's one that I was going to go to, but I'm just going to go skip that one because I do want Cuervo's opinion on something. But what's going on in the NFL? Well, look at this. The top selling jerseys right now, 2 of them are Tim Tebow, 2 of them are Fields. Market that. 3 of them, 3, 4, and 5 are Fields, the rookie quarterback in Chicago. Then, of course, Tom Brady at number 6. I just, you know, I saw that, and I just thought it was extremely interesting because Tim Tebow's a big story. Should he have the job in Jacksonville? Should he not? Should he be playing for the tight end position? Should he not? You know, that really all depends upon what you're looking at. So I also want to get to an email that I got. Well, not an email, message that I got. And I wrote it down because I can't remember who sent it to me, but usually when I get them, I write them down so I can talk about them. Is back to Aaron Rodgers, what we're talking about. Yes, by the way, guys, I do think that Aaron Rodgers is partially ignorant and partially green. Yeah, I said it. I think Aaron Rodgers is a little ignorant, not realizing what team he's on. Again, guys, this is not a Jerry Jones owned team. This is not a football team owned by one people. It's owned by a community. Okay, so the things that that someone with Jerry Jones or Robert Kraft or whatever the case, whatever team you play for, remember Tom Brady walking up to the owners, the Khan owners, Khan, not Con, the Khans who own the Jacksonville Jaguars, say, I want that guy. That gets heard more than Aaron Rodgers walking into Green Bay where he says, I want this guy. Well, you know, Aaron, I know you would like this guy, but you can't. No, I really think we need to get that. But Aaron, what you don't understand is we can't do that. Based upon this big salary that we're paying you, bringing more people in at the numbers that will be asked for, we just can't do that. But no, but I want that guy. And yes, even though Stephen A. has it on great authority that he said, now, damn it, I'm going to take care of the team. You take care of being a quarterback. I believe happened. But I think context is really huge there because I bet you Aaron Rodgers was in there a lot. And I bet you Aaron Rodgers got what he wanted. But, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, the Aaron Rodgers situation to me, I find very interesting. And I say that because when you look at Aaron Rodgers and where he is at in his career, okay, first of all, 16 years. Most quarterbacks are not making it that long. And if they are, they're not staying in that position for a very long time. But the ownership of the Green Bay Packers is saying this situation right now is putting a lot of things in play. First of all, the Packers' potential trade hauls cash and cap gains that support calling Aaron Rodgers bluff. And I'm going to tell you, and also ownership says this rift is causing a tear between fans and the team. And they're going to put this on Aaron. What do people think about Aaron Rodgers right now? Do they think that he is doing the right thing? Who knows? Has Aaron Rodgers lost a lot of love from the fans? I believe that. And I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers shouldn't do what he's doing. All I'm going to say is that I think that Aaron Rodgers sometimes, again, forgets what team that he plays for. Forgets the fact he talks about legacy and everything else, but I got news for you. Okay? Curly, Vince Lombardi were the two guys running that team, and if Bart Starr walked up and said, I want this guy, damn, I demand this guy, I want this guy, those conversations were not happening because they didn't give a rat's fat ass what Bart Starr had to say. That's what the legacy is. The legacy is the names. But the legacies of making an ass out of yourself and making demands and saying, well, if I don't get what I want, screw you. Again, we don't know how many times that the Green Bay Packers listened to the suggestions of Aaron Rodgers and went that way. Yes, again, they fired his quarterback's coach like he needs one. They fired his buddy. Pay the guy, shut up, and bring him on there and say, no, I'll take care of this one, guys. He's going to be here. You know, Aaron Rodgers, I'm just going to say it. He's green with envy because of what Tom Brady can do when he gets what he wants, when he wants, why he wants, and everything else. And by the way, there should be a lot of people, as far as Jones in the backfield and also Antonio Brown should be thankful that they got a guy that is looking out for their best interests to get him on a football team. But Aaron Rodgers does not get that because he doesn't have creds. He doesn't have one. Mark that. He only has one Super Bowl ring, but he doesn't have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Guys, you got to understand where Tom Brady is in his career with the success that he has had, and he demands what he wants. He moved out of New England because he wasn't necessarily getting it, although he got what he wanted. He wanted Garoppolo gone. There he goes. He's gone. So Tom Brady was getting what he won back with Robert Kraft, but over and over and over dealing with that situation, he just wanted to go someplace else. By the way, when he made the playoffs, that's when he was. And if you don't think he's the GOAT, you're just ignorant. You just have something against him. Oh, he's a cheater. You're not trying unless you cheat. Unless you're cheating, you're not trying. Go back into the gate. And I understand where football is and the thinking, and I know where I am. Because of the LeBron James situation, yes, I'm happy about it. Life is good for a LeBron hater, and I am a LeBron on the court hater. I'm tired of seeing this guy. I'm tired of this guy being the guy. I'm tired of this guy being the face of the NBA. And I'm glad that the Suns not only beat them, but kicked their asses. Yeah. Now, granted, they didn't have their guy. They didn't have their superstar, the groin pull, the problem that was going on. Believe me, it's a big problem. When you got a guy that's got a growing pull, it's one of those things. And it happens all the time. And it kills him. Anthony Davis with that groin injury is not going to be there. And by the way, I got a message on my Facebook page, he's saying he's a horrible person. Well, yeah, I don't like him. I don't like his arrogance, but he's not a horrible person. He's one hell of a humanitarian. I can't stand him on the court. But you can't tell me, and the back and forth I was going with this person, well, he's only doing it for tax reasons. Well, guess what? How many people are doing things for tax reasons that don't give a shit? I mean, he's taken a whole high school, giving them everything they need in order to be successful. And not only that, going to pay their way all the way through college. How is that not being good? Let's just say, he wouldn't put it in his name. He would just give the money to somebody. But no, he took it on his name so he could get that situation where he would be taken seriously and these kids would be taken seriously. Never mind all the other things that he does in his charity works and everything else. So I'm not ever going to put LeBron James down what he does off the court. Okay? And if you're putting him down for that, he's going to do it for taxes. Well, you got a problem against him. I got a problem with it. I don't like him. But you can't question his humanitarian work for his community and kids all over this country, never mind other things that he has done. There's a long list of things that LeBron James does for the better good. So what? He gets a tax break. Congratulations. Okay? He's doing what everybody else does out there as far as the corporate world is concerned. Say whatever you want about LeBron. LeBron's a corporate world. But at least he's doing things with it instead of these crooks. Walmart, these billionaire companies making billions of dollars, and they don't do anything. Or they don't even come close to doing what a LeBron James does. Can't stand them out on the football or basketball court. Can't stand them. Don't even want to watch unless he's going to lose. That's the only reason why I watch. And and by the way, didn't even watch until they got close to where they were going to be an elimination game. I didn't watch game 1. I did not watch game 2, but I watched the 4 games after that. 4 games to 2, the Phoenix Suns, and just destroy them. And I'm just going to tell you this. So hypocritical is Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, I said it. Stephen A. Smith's so hypocritical because I've heard him on his show saying Anthony Davis is better at 50% than a lot of people, is more than the guys that are on his team. That's what they did. That's why he played them. And then they're coming out there jumping on, well, he shouldn't have even been out there. Such a hypocrite. And by the way, Stephen A. Smith, and I'm going to say it, don't care. Send me the messages. Stephen A. Smith is moving away from sports to where I don't want to hear him anymore. Because I think there's a lot of issues that he's calling out race that have no business being called out on race. And one of them was the deal that was in Boston where they took a guy and moved him up into Danny Ainge's, and he's out there calling racism that they didn't interview with anybody there. But who knows, See, and Stephen A. Smith doesn't know the workings of a franchise and what they're doing, okay? Maybe they had that set up for him to move up to that spot. Danny Ainge was not going to be the GM of that basketball team forever over there in Boston. Someone needed to take it, and this guy has been filling the role, and they probably had their eyes on him. Now, if you want to yell and scream about him not going to get the coach, fine. But that is their decision, and I'm tired of the fact that Stephen A. Smith thinks that everybody of color should have a shot at something, and that's just not the real world. Not because of racism, it's because of what that franchise wants to do. And I get the fact that they might be overlooking a person of color, but I'm going to go back to say this: is that is their team. The owner of that team should have a right to do whatever he wants instead of being on the radar of Stephen A. Smith and calling out people for what they do or don't do regarding their business. Now, Stephen A. Smith's got a problem, and I think he's moving away from sports. I think he was so mad about that situation where I don't know if he told them, hey, we're going to walk. It's showbiz over there. I don't believe what's going on First Take that they didn't know he was going to walk off there. I think that thing was a whole great big setup because that's what First Take is. It's not really a sports debate show. It is Hollywood. And my brother, Fred, says that all the time. They don't believe half the crap they're saying. And if you don't think for 2 seconds that Stephen A. didn't run this by the executives that he was going to say this, I'd say that you are naive. Stephen A. Smith covers his ass. He's not stupid. He'll make it sound like he's going out on a limb, but this guy didn't go out on any limb. This guy didn't do anything that ABC and the Disney executives didn't know. He lets them know what they're going to say. And why they let this guy go off on that, I don't know. Now, granted, knowing business, this is their business. They'll let him go and do that because that's their business. If you tell him, but the day that they say, yo, Stephen A., this is getting a little too much, you need to stop. Stephen A. will stop. Or he's got something in the backlogs. He doesn't care if he gets fired, and he's already got something in the works and everything else. And that's my guess. How far can Stephen A. now take this, whether it be the race card on these things? Because I'm telling you right now, I will lose respect for you if your first thing out of your mouth is a race card argument. I want to hear some real stuff. We do that on this show. Stephen A. has seemed to have been diving into the race card on every subject that has even a long distance way that he can make a connection on. It may be a close one, I get it, but the long one. And his reaction, it was pathetic. Stephen A., your reaction was pathetic.
How dare you say such a thing? That is insanity.
But that's you. Stephen A. is really, he is in the driver's seat. And listen, this is where his power of his brand. Listen, Stephen A. Smith's brand is Stephen A.'s. It's not ESPN. Although the platform was on ESPN, it's all about Stephen A. And Stephen A. does not need ESPN. But I will say that the brand, Stephen A. probably doesn't want to have to get into studios and production and all this other stuff. He probably doesn't want to get into that deep into it yet. And when he does, and listen, he might be there. Maybe that's the reason why he's going the way he's going. Because one of these days, he's going to say something and it's going to trigger an effect in the Disney Corp, the high-ups, and they're going to say, this is enough. We're tired of this. This is enough. And they have a right to do that. By the way, that's their show. That's not Stephen A.'s show. Okay? It's not Stephen A.'s show. It is ESPN's show. And they can do and say or demand what they want before Stephen A. can put it out there. And if they say, yo, Stephen, we don't want you going this way, Stephen, if he doesn't care about whether or not he's going to get popped or lose his job or get fined or get suspended, he can go ahead and do that. But Stephen A. has, and I'm telling you right now, Stephen A. has an out. And he's got an idea on where it will go if everything goes sideways at ESPN. Because if you think it's the last you'll see of Stephen A., you're crazy. Now, will that be his own production company? Would that be his own thing for him to set up and have a little studio and do it? Maybe. Will it be a Fox? Maybe. Hell, who knows? But Stephen A. Smith is not an idiot. But he's making it hard for me to watch. Not that I do a lot of it. But the only things that I've actually lately have been hearing from Stephen A. is when he goes on and pulls out the race card. I lose respect for Stephen A. when he does that all the time. Now, there are certain subjects that they are going to talk about that it's going to be about race and everything else, and that is set up. But as far as what's going on, and especially as far as the Boston thing, he's and by the way, he's the only one I heard about that. No one was saying anything before he went in and said it. And maybe he thinks that he's a yeah, I said it kind of guy. That yeah, he said it is going to turn the people off, and people are going to stop watching. Again, where that will all go, I don't know. Will Stephen A. be part of ESPN? I don't know. Will it be Fox or his own production company? I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think I'm in the minority in saying that I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that argument. It's weak. And Stephen A. is weak by doing that. It's just unfair. But, you know, it is what it is. That's what Stephen A. does. And you're not going to get him off of his, you know, lines on what he's going to do. Big story again. Jones, Tennessee. This is being reported. The Falcons are expected to trade Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans, barring any setbacks in the next 24 to 48 hours. In order for it to happen, let's look at this. The two sides are finalizing compensation, but one source said a very good feeling. I'm sorry. He says, I feel very good about this happening between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tennessee Titans. If there are no snags, the trade would be processed as early as Monday, probably Tuesday, by the way. The Falcons and the Tennessee Titans are still discussing whether or not the package for Julio Jones will be a second rounder and a fifth-round pick, or a second rounder with a pickup, a swap of other picks, per sources that obviously are not going to be named, but the belief the agreement is going to be done. Listen, I'm just going to say straight out, I think he's worth a first-round draft pick. And I might be wrong. I might be wrong. So look at that. Some other things that are being talked about is that you take a look, New England Patriots, who's going to take the first snap? By the way, Cam Newton has said he has a finger problem and a knee problem. Is that enough for Mac Jones to make it up there to be the starter? I don't know, because Jarrett Stidham has been reportedly been really good when Cam Newton's not there. Mac Jones has been average. He's a rookie. Again, if you're expecting more from a rookie, I think you're making a mistake. So the odds are really interesting on what's going on there. What is New England's situation anyway? You got to ask that question. Who are they better off at the quarterback position? If Cam Newton's on the go, should it be Jarrett Stidham? I don't know. It just depends on the development of that young kid, Mac Jones. Should be interesting. A lot of people don't think that they're out there and it's worth anything. So, interestingly enough, again, the teams that were out there, according to odds and everything else, there were some teams out there that were going after. Baltimore was a team that really should have broke their neck to get him. I'm sorry, they should have. And they're dropping the ball. And especially if it's a second rounder, why? That's not working. Where is Baltimore? Why are they dropping the ball? Why are they putting this all on the legs of their quarterback? That is the team I'm most disappointed in. Because, listen, I am no genius. I say it on this show all the time. But you got Julio Jones, Jackson, they got a running game, and they got other guys they can throw, and a tight end. Listen, that offense could be potent, and we could be talking about the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. So why are Baltimore not in part of those talks? Especially if that's what's being reported. If I'm the GM, I'm finding my phone going, whoa. I'll give you a first round. Let us have Julio. That's what should be happening over there. And they're dropping the ball. And the window of opportunity for the Baltimore Ravens to be Super Bowl bound, or maybe in the second, third round of the playoffs, could depend upon this Julio Jones. And if they saw that report that it's a second rounder and they're not on the phone offering up a first, they're nuts. They're absolutely nuts. The GM should be fired. Because I'm telling you right now, the only thing that team is missing is a true number one. A true number one. And if you can't get him, you should find some of the Calvin Ridley is the number one for that football team. That would be a big boot. But I don't think they get Ridley out of there. Now, think about this. Calvin Ridley would probably cost less. Baltimore's making a big mistake. They're dropping the ball. Not only that young cat out of Tampa Bay, they got an influx of wide receiver. They should be going after that young cat. His name, it's not Evans, and there's another dude down there. Just forget. Just outstanding guy. They need to put a bow on their wide receiver position in Baltimore, and right now they're dropping the ball, and they need to fire the GM. And I think we all know who that is. So I don't know. Maybe it's me. And I've been told that maybe I could be a little rough on, things when I'm looking at them. But I'm telling you right now, Baltimore's making the biggest mistake. If they heard that report and they weren't on the phone trying to figure out how they get their nose in that deal, they dropped the ball and someone needs to be fired straight out. Now, I don't know what they got to offer. I don't know what their cap spread. I don't know all that crap, but you make that work. Where's John Harbaugh's, influence on getting him a guy? I don't know if John Harbaugh has asked for it. I don't know if John Harbaugh has demanded, listen, we need a guy. We need a number one, a real number one. Because Sammy Watkins is not it. Sammy Watkins is a good number two. He's got the potential to be a step-up number two, which is a position I created. He's got the potential to be a step-up number two. I'm telling you right now, he's not a number one. The best is step-up number two, if not two. On a good football team, he could even be number three. So Sammy Watkins is not the answer. So, they dropped the ball. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be in the position that they're going to be in the toughest division of football because, listen, the Browns are no easy W anymore. You got Joe Burrows over in Cincinnati becoming, and don't forget about the Steelers. Just makes no sense to me. But, hey, that's just me. But what do I know? But it is the Couch Potato Sports Show. I'm Sonny Clark. That is going to do it for me because we don't have Cuervo. There's a couple of things that I'm going to hold over to talk to Cuervo about. And just to let you know, one of them is who is one of the most underrated players in the NBA or the NFL. And I got mine. So I'm going to ask him this question. Who is the most underrated player in the NFL? I'll ask Cuervo that next week. Who do you think he will come out to talk about? I don't know. But we'll do that. Again, guys, we're going to try to get Claire Carey on the show. Yes. Look at this. This was the one. When I was in high school, this was the one I was going humming about. That girl was good looking. And she's even good looking still to the day. I mean, she's been all over television. Chuck, she was in Chuck. She does a lot of starring roles, but she also had parts in show Crash, a TV show that I watched religiously. Jericho, she was in Jericho. And I saw her in Boston Legal. There are a lot of shows that Point Pleasant was another one that I watched her in that she had a regular walk-on it. So Little Time was also another show that she was. I followed this young lady's career. And let me tell you something. Too good looking. But hey, it is what it is. So we're going to try to get her on. We're going to talk about the show Coach because it was one of my all-time favorite coaches. I got every episode. every once in a while I'll sit down and I'll watch me some Coach. So we'll do that. We'll get her on the air. We'll talk a little bit about that show. Hayden Fox and obviously Craig T. Nelson's role in that spot. So interestingly enough, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have her on the show. So we will be back on next Sunday. This seems to be the right time for Cuervo. If he doesn't have something going on, we're going to shoot for 3:30 next Sunday. So join us then. So for Cuervo, who is absent, and all the other show hosts that can come on whenever they want, I am Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, and I'm out of here, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.